Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we're loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping with news that's jaw dropping. They're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
That's always funny. Welcome to episode 137 of Sports on Tap Detroit. I'm Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell and Frank Chigata. Fellas, how are we?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm here.
Same.
Yeah, I'm here.
Same. I'm pretty fired up.
I know you're pretty fired up because you hate Bill Gates and Microsoft.
I hate Bill
the
Gates. I
updates
hate
before
Windows
our
updates.
show.
I fucking hate it all. And I just came from a place where I work where I hate a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of hating right now, and I'm looking forward to just fucking being fired up on the air. Let's fucking do this.
We like fired up Joe on the air.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. Frank, how are you doing?
I'm afraid to talk
Why?
because I'm afraid Joe's gonna go nuts.
That's
Not
kinda-
on you.
That's,
Not on you.
I kind of want that.
I don't think
I kind of want.
I don't think I've ever gone nuts on you.
Chris doesn't want to be the guy going off on me this time.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, I mean, we might as well just get right into it and break down the Super Bowl from.
I agree. We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Bald Man Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. He is the resident DJ at St. Hubert's Festival every year. If he is good enough for God, then he's good enough for you. Again, that's Bald Man Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Very well done. Good job, buddy.
Thanks. I had to fire first this
Nice.
week. I had to get the fucking shot in first.
As soon as Chris asked me how I was doing, I was this close to just going right
Just going
into
into
my
your
read.
That is
The week you go right into your read it first is the week it's going to throw both of us off.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I expected one of you to do it. I just didn't know which one it was going to be. But that's
It was very last minute for me because I was actually kind of just angry.
right.
And I had it pulled up and I was like, fuck it.
Fuck it. Might as well do it. Well, speaking of fuck it, this Super Bowl, I was kind of like fuck it because I didn't want either team to win. I don't like either team, so I really didn't have a dog in the fight. I mean, I obviously had some bets on it, like pretty much everybody else does.
Of course.
Really didn't do well on those either, which kind of irritated me. But it is what it is.
What threw me off on all my bets was the over.
Yeah,
And that's
I think that threw a lot of people off.
If it wasn't for the over not hitting,
Yeah.
I probably would have hit on almost everything.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now, I put in parlays.
Of course. Yeah. Same here.
Every one of them had the over
Yep.
because I was so confident
Oh yeah.
in the over, and yet,
But seeing how that first half played out, I'm like,
the first quarter was 0-0.
yeah,
I was like, well, this fucking sucks.
Shit.
In the Discord that I'm a part of, we go through all the bets and everything. It's a bunch of buddies and some guys from their works and stuff like that. Every one of them was talking the under. And I'm sitting there going, y'all are nuts. Like, this is going to be an over game for sure.
I was so confident it was over.
Oh, absolutely. Same
Yeah,
here.
I'm
we
same
talked
boat.
about it last show that we all are like,
I was
over.
I mean, I'm in hindsight looking at it. Obviously, I'm a fucking idiot, but I'll admit I was all over the over. I thought for sure it was gonna be an over game.
And like I had said, I had bought it up. I went at 50.5 and still took the over. I was like, the fuck? And it barely, I mean, it hit right where the over-under was set.
Right.
It just hit under, though.
Right.
I mean, I credit to the coordinators. They had a game planned out pretty well, at least in the first half, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Not enjoyable to watch.
It was kind of I'm torn between was it, and I want to ask you guys this because I really am torn on this question, right?
Yeah.
Was it the defenses that had the offenses guessing and making mistakes, or was it just kind of a sloppy game?
I think the first half it was a sloppy game. Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I think it was a very sloppy game in the first half.
I tend to agree with you in hindsight looking at it.
Yep.
Watching it originally, I think I told you, I'm like, it looks like good defense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, sitting there looking back at it, I was thinking, I don't know whether it was actually good defense or just really sloppy
I think
play.
it was a lot of misplays that could have and should have been
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
But that kind of happens. I mean, both teams have a good defense, so you don't want to do something stupid and have a turnover or whatever. So I kind of get it in that regard.
Yeah.
But for like arguably the two best teams in football, did not expect that kind of sloppy play.
I can tell you that I'm very disappointed in Shanahan.
You should be.
And
Absolutely,
and
you should be.
And in my opinion, he more lost the game than Andy Reid won the game. Now, coaching had a difference in this game, and Andy Reid made less mistakes
Yep.
and coached a better game. But to say that says that Shanahan actually made more mistakes.
Right.
And Andy Reid didn't out-coach him. Shanahan got out-coached. is what happened because he let himself get out coached.
Now, two things
When-
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say,
go
when,
ahead.
to me, it was you didn't stick to running the football.
No, they got away from it.
There was several times in the second half and in overtime where
Yeah.
you're looking at it going,
It's working.
what are you doing? You have the best running back in football
Yep.
with one of the better offensive lines in football. You're getting 4 yards a carry. Why are you not doing this?
Yeah, they went away from
What
it.
are you doing? And there was times in the second half where I think it was like 2 different times, 3 and out. They didn't run the ball once.
Yeah, they went away from it for
What are you doing?
like too long of a time period. They went away from it.
And again,
like, okay.
Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy. The guy's in his second year. He's Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last drafted player. Okay? Now, he's done pretty well for where he was drafted and what he's been expected to do.
Right.
Last guy in the draft, second year in, made it to the NFC Championship game, made it to the Super Bowl. Okay, you cannot put the entire game on his shoulders.
No,
That's not what you.
He's not
you-
that guy.
You cannot do that.
he's not that guy.
He's not.
No.
And by all accounts, he had a very good year. He had a very good playoff.
Yep.
He needed to be great in a position where he was just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it fair to expect him to be great? He's literally the last drafted player in the draft in his second year. I think you, as a coach, you have to find a way to make it easier on him, not harder on him.
Right.
And passing the ball 6 to 9 straight times with 3 and outs is not doing that.
That's not doing that.
Especially when you have CMC and a very good offensive line. To me, that's just setting your quarterback up to fail.
Now, watching that first half, I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be like that Rams-Patriots Super Bowl a few years ago, which was, to me, is the most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life.
At this point, I
It was a
yeah.
punt fest.
Yeah,
like
it
it
was
was a punt fest. It was absurd, like how bad it was.
Kansas City punted their first 7 possessions.
Right. Now, that being said, and I said this last show, and this was my biggest X factor, was Steve Spagnuolo. And the adjustments he made at halftime showed. Big time. Like, showed what you got Brock Purdy under pressure. Didn't look great. Didn't look great.
See, again,
He was bringing different looks.
He was.
He was bringing a lot of exotic blitzes, a lot of
See, and I'm torn in the second half because the second half is where Shanahan just decided not to run the football like a dozen times.
You're right.
And I'm like, is that, and Spags? I give him credit. I agree with you. He's a great defensive coordinator, and he was bringing blitzes, and he was disguising the blitzes as he brought them. I mean, he was doing a great job. And watching this, I'm going, okay, so if you know they're bringing blitzes, which Spags does, right? What you need to do is run a screenplay to decide where they're going to blitz. You know what I mean? Run a draw play to the opposite side. You know what I mean? Like, there's things you need to do in those scenarios where Shanahan just was not doing it at all.
No, you're right. And we got a comment here from That's My Sports. He says Steve Wilkes should have kept the pressure on Pat Mahomes like he did in the first half. I don't disagree with that.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
Totally
that at all. I think he absolutely should have done it. It was working. Now, obviously, they made some adjustments at halftime. But your job as a defensive coordinator, knowing that they're going to make adjustments as well.
Make your own adjustments.
Make your own adjustments.
Yep.
Like, come up with more exotic blitzes, something. You can still keep your game plan. You got to modify it a little bit, yeah.
Well,
you can still keep that game plan.
And to That's My Sports point is in the second half, you did see that Kansas City's offense, and that's really why, to me, that's why Shanahan went with taking the ball in the overtime, is because his defense had just given up 3 straight scores.
Yeah.
His defense was tired, and they were worn out. And to
And
me,
they were hurt.
And to me, that like everyone's making a big deal about why he took the. That's why his defense had nothing left at that point. You had to give them a break.
Right.
They were spent, and the defensive coordinator Wilkes was not putting them in a position to succeed, and they were just getting torn apart by Kansas City in the second half.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, as Shanahan, okay, his excuse was we wanted the third possession. If we both scored, then we want the third possession, which in a way I get. Like you're not counting on giving up a touchdown when you only get a field goal. You're counting on having your defense give up only a field goal, holding them, and then you get the third possession to then go ahead, right? And score and take a lead and win. But with that being said, I really think it was more about my defense is getting crushed right now and they're tired.
Right.
And we need to give them a break.
Now, the most absurd thing about that is basically his team had no idea what the rules were for overtime. No idea. Which, to me,
they thought the end of the first overtime quarter was like it. And that's not the case. You get
common sense tells you, how can you think that?
So I understand in a way, but I don't, because you're in the National Football League. You need to know the overtime rules. Now, the overtime rules before would have been, yes, that first overtime, that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah.
You don't get another overtime.
Right.
But the way it is now is both teams get a possession.
Which I'm fine
and
with.
your possession does not end at the end of the first overtime.
And they literally said
quarter.
It during the coin toss. This is like a new game. It's a new game.
And both teams get a possession.
Regardless.
Period. It doesn't end. Now, if it goes into the second overtime quarter, and Kansas City doesn't score on that possession, San Francisco intercepts it or whatever, then the game's over.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But-
the most fucked up thing about this topic
Yeah.
is right now on ESPN, their number one headline, 49ers Kyle Shanahan asked staff to review OT rules with players.
Now, from everything I've heard and read this, like after, a couple days after, is the Chiefs were 1,000,000% prepared for this scenario from training camp.
Oh, yeah. They've been practicing it.
Yes, which again, that goes to, like you said,
Coaching.
you got out coach.
Coaching.
Yes, it does.
Coaching.
Now, to me, is that a fireable offense?
So
I'm not going to say yes.
I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to go with no as well. I mean, I could see the argument for it, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
Right. So for me, it comes down to, like if you were to look at the mirror image, really, basically, of Andy Reid's coaching career to Kyle Shanahan's, right? At this point in time, where Kyle Shanahan is in 4 years in, it almost exactly mirrors Andy Reid's.
Yeah.
Almost exactly mirrors it. And Andy Reid was as people are looking at Kyle Shanahan right now saying, he's a great regular season coach, can't win the big game, right?
Yep.
That was what the knock was on Andy Reid.
Yep.
For years, when he was with Philadelphia, that was his knock. Until he got to Kansas City is when he finally got past that, and the guy's become one of the best head coaches to ever coach in football.
Say he's in the GOAT conversation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He has to be.
I don't think it's a fireable offense because I think Kyle Shanahan can recover from this. I think he's a young head coach. He's made mistakes. Do I think they're the mistakes he should be making at this point? No. But when you look at, in hindsight, other head coaches who have had similar career paths, maybe we're just expecting too much as opposed to what we expected from other coaches. I think he needs to learn from this and get better, because I will tell you, I truly believe he lost this game more than Andy Reid won it. I think he was outcoached by Andy Reid, but I think it was more he was outcoached as opposed to Andy Reid outcoached him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And I'm not dogging Andy Reid, because Andy Reid really is one of the best to ever do it at this point.
Definitely.
I think he let himself get outcoached. And I think he needs to get better from this. I don't think it's fireable at this point. I think he's got a very good career ahead of him. He needs to change some shit real quick.
Yeah, he does.
Real quick.
Does. Now, obviously, with the Chiefs winning, back-to-back Super Bowls and the third in 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen obviously this on Twitter and whatnot, that now like Mahomes is the GOAT. No, he's not. Stop it. No, he's not. He's not the GOAT. He isn't. He hasn't even got to 4 yet.
I got a woosah.
Seriously.
I got a woosah.
Like,
Rub the ears.
Goose
remember your pressure points.
Goose fraba.
Right here, Joe. Rub the earlobes.
It's a nice fucking fish. Big fucking eyes.
Big eyes.
But a nice fucking fish.
Nice fucking fish.
But yeah, I've seen it obviously since basically the game ended. Oh, Mahomes ago. No, he's not.
No.
He's not. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
No, Stop.
You can't put him ahead of Montana. You can't.
Stop.
Montana's undefeated in Super Bowls.
You cannot put him ahead of
No,
Montana.
you can't.
You cannot put him ahead of Brady yet.
No.
Is the conversation possibly going to be there down the road?
Yes,
Possibly.
Possibly.
I expect it to be.
Down the road.
Yeah.
Right now?
Give it 10 years.
Right now? Shut the fuck up.
Now if he wins 3 straight.
Still no.
Okay.
If he
I mean-
wins 3 straight, I will accept the conversation.
So 3 straight puts him in a conversation as far as one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
Right? But as far as GOAT,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to have the career.
Yeah.
Because GOAT to me says career. It's not.
Oh,
it's not
of course,
It's not,
yes.
it's not a shortened period of time where you're like, hey, he won 3 in 4 years.
Right.
No.
This is the thing, though.
It's career,
This
right?
this is what I can't stand about how we evaluate quarterbacks. It's by rings and win.
Well,
it's like
it's not necessarily that. That has a lot to do with it.
it does. Like, but it's always irritated me because, just because Brad Johnson has a Super Bowl ring and Dan Marino doesn't, is Brad Johnson better than Dan Marino? No.
Yeah, so is Trent Dilfer, right?
Exactly. But
Trent Dilfer's better than Dan Marino?
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, whenever
We gotta bring
whenever
up-
I hear that argument, well, so-and-so has this many. I don't-
Joe Flacco's better than Trent
don't
Dilfer. Or
give a
better
shit.
than Dan Marino.
Especially with football being such a team game. Like, I don't care. And that's why I think, like, pitcher stats or pitcher wins and quarterback wins, it's such an overrated stat.
So to me, it should be. It's more like to me. I look at it as analytics, right? It should be a portion of the picture, not the entire picture.
Right.
Right. It shouldn't be your entire strategy.
No.
It should be a portion of it. Right. So for me, quarterback wins should be a portion of how you look at quarterbacks.
Right.
Shouldn't be the only way you look at quarterbacks.
No.
I don't think you can completely disregard it.
No,
because
you-
I think quarterbacks lead to the better quarterbacks lead to more wins than the
Right.
bad quarterbacks do, right? So like they have a direct correlation with more wins. I don't think it's the only stat you should look at.
Right.
And
Because
it's not the end all be all.
You could have a quarterback play his ass off, like do everything he possibly
And
can.
still lose.
And still lose because your defense sucks.
And you could have a quarterback go out there and throw 4 fucking picks
Right.
and still win a game.
Exactly.
Right. So with that being said, the better quarterbacks have a bigger correlation to their winning percentage because they're better quarterbacks.
Right.
Right. But it's more of a piece of the puzzle as opposed to the entire puzzle.
Right. Like, that's what I say about like pitchers. Like he can pitch like 7, scoreless, 1 run, whatever, and then your bullpen comes in and just gets bombed.
And
It's
he
like
doesn't
great,
win.
cool.
Yeah.
But is he a shitty pitcher because he doesn't have the wins? No. And that's why that's always been kind of an overrated stat to me. But that's how we judge these things, or people judge these things.
Well,
I
see,
don't necessarily judge.
It's how people
that.
judge it. I think it should be a portion of the puzzle, not the entire
Yeah,
puzzle.
should it be in the equation? Yes.
Yeah.
It should be, but it shouldn't be the equation.
No, absolutely not. But see, again, that's where I think the three of us come in as far as our logical mindset when it comes to judging these things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, saying the three of us are logical, I guess, is really fucking weird. But when it comes down to
I don't feel logical.
I don't feel logical a lot of times, but I guess when we look at sports, we are for the most part because we look at it in the bigger picture of things. We don't just look at small, minute bullshit stats, right? If we're going to look at stats, which I'm a stats guy, I look at you look at the big picture. It's not just about one honed in fucking stat, period.
Right.
And championships for quarterbacks, it's a part of it.
It is a part of it.
So it's a part of it. It's a piece of it.
But it's
Wins.
it's not the end all be all.
It's not the end all be all.
Right.
Wins.
Yep.
It's a part of it. It's a piece of it. It's not the end all be all.
And then there's things you can't put numbers on. Everybody wants to talk about game managers. Well, I'm going to judge a great quarterback or the greatest quarterback of all time based on how he manages a game. You can't put numbers on that.
I think game manager has become a very overused fucking term.
And it's used as almost an insult.
It is. And I think it's an overused term as an insult, too. It's like Tom Brady was actually a game manager. He was one of the best game managers you've ever seen because his mind processed defenses faster than the defenses could move. Like the guy just knew where to go with the football pre-snap mostly. He managed games. He wasn't a game manager. But I think the best quarterbacks, in a way, are game managers.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, to call a quarterback a game manager has become such a fucking insult that it is. It's a derogatory term these days. Oh, he's a game manager. I said, wow, why'd you have to say that about his mom? You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking awful. But that's the way it comes across.
The other thing I judge him on is leadership. Quarterback's got to be the leader of the team.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I agree
Tom
with that.
Brady was the leader of that team.
I agree with that.
That's why the Tom Brady argument isn't really an argument anymore, because you look at it and he's number one in almost every category.
Well, that's why Joe Montana. If anybody wants to say Joe Montana is the best quarterback, I will never argue that. I think it's Tom Brady.
It's an acceptable argument.
I think it's Tom Brady, but that's why I'll accept Joe Montana. Chris, and I think you're Joe Montana, right? You're as far as
Over
go?
Brady, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he was a true fucking leader. Mm-hmm. He's undefeated in Super Bowls, and he was the true leader of one of the best organizations and franchises in football history. I will never argue against that.
You can't.
I personally don't think that's the case. I think it's Brady, then Montana. But I was such a fan of those Niners.
Yeah.
For me to even say that is almost blasphemy. And I look back on it, I can't argue with somebody that says Montana's the guy.
Right.
That's your opinion, and I can't even argue with that.
And who knows what he would have done if it wasn't for Steve Young. And it's not a slight at Steve Young. Steve Young ended up going on having excellent
A
career.
hell of a career.
But what more could Montana done, because we saw he could still play?
Yeah.
And this is where I go back to, and we said this, or I've said this a long time ago about just the GOAT terminology. Like, I don't necessarily think there is such a thing. Because
It's a matter of preference.
you're just gonna argue your
Your
bias,
opinion.
your bias,
Right.
or your opinion.
Yep.
So to me,
And there's eras
there's absolutely eras, absolutely. And again,
in every sport.
this is why I don't think there's a GOAT thing,
Right.
That GOAT dynamic. I don't think that's a thing to me. It's because you're always going to argue for your guy.
What? Yeah. And
You
again,
know?
with the eras thing, it's so different
Yeah,
because you look at the era. If you're gonna, okay, so we'll look at football right now while we're talking about it. Look at Montana. Okay, the era that Montana played in, as opposed to the era that Brady played in, as opposed to this era where Mahomes is currently playing in,
Yeah.
where Brady's career ended. Now, Brady's career began and ended in two different eras.
yep, it did.
Hell, you could argue 3.
You could. You could. Now, Mahomes is in a completely different era because his started in that era. And Montana was the era before. So it's like different rules, different eras, different mindsets, totally different games. So to say one is 1,000% better than the other, or one is 100% better, you almost can't because they're so different across the board. It's hard to decipher.
Yeah. No, and again,
And you look at Jordan versus LeBron.
right.
Different eras.
Completely. Now, I still think Jordan is the GOAT. I still think he can play in this era. But for me to actually truly make that argument, I can't. How can I make an argument how can I prove Jordan would still be great in this era?
I think
How
the
could I-
real argument there, though, is what era of basketball was harder.
But again, that's an argument that people will make the argument this in one way or the other, right? It depends on how you feel.
Right.
Now,
You
I
look at
feel
it now, it's more speed, it's more shooting abilities, it's shit like that. You look at the past era, it's more defense.
more defense, more physical, more,
Which in turn would knock offensive ability
right.
because you can actually play defense on somebody.
Right.
Right.
So,
But again, it's all about you can't necessarily prove.
Right.
and Dennis is right. He's like Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky. Like, how do you compare them?
Yep.
Like,
Hockey's
like
the
Bobby
exact
Orr,
same way.
Wayne Gretzky. You know,
Yep.
Gretzky and Connor McDavid right now.
Yep.
Like, how do you? Again, different eras.
It's almost impossible to
That's why I love
actually
the goalie
compare.
conversation.
right. I mean, is Martin Brodeur better than Terry Sawchuk? I don't know. Maybe.
Two completely different
Two
eras.
completely different eras.
By the way, I do love Dennis's comment. Shanahan didn't have Kelsey to yell at him and tell him what to
Speaking
do.
of that, what did you think about that?
So to me, it was a bad look at first.
Yeah.
Like I saw it and I was like, that's a bad look. That's a bad look.
Yep.
And I know in hindsight, Andy Reid and him they're kind of playing it down, and
Right.
he's passionate.
He was
I
mic'd
love
up.
him. Was he? Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't hear what was said.
He said something like, I can do this or something like that. Like he was mad that he wasn't getting the opportunity.
He was mad that he wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
So I guess I give Andy Reid credit for just letting him vent and then go about his fucking day.
Yeah.
And again, I guess as his head coach, he knows how to deal with him better than what most people would, right? And they seem to have a very good relationship. So I'm not going to say that. I think it was a bad look on Kelsey's part. And to me, I'm going to tell you, that's one of the reasons why I've soured on him in the recent year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's become a lot more selfish of a person the last year or so. I think he's become more egotistical. I was a bigger fan of who he was before, where it was more about, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to do the best I can for my team. It's all about the team.
Yeah.
And I just feel he's become more me, almost like a wide receiver.
He needs somebody to humble him.
Yeah, and it just...
He needs to
it
go
was-
across
it
the
wa-
middle and have one of these safeties blow his ass
It was
out.
just such a bad look for me, whereas, like, if you have respect for your head coach, you don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand you're heated. I understand you're in the middle of a game. I understand we've all played sports, right? You're going to get heated. Things are going to happen. But I just thought that was such a bad look. And again,
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong, but that was just the way I was like, man, that's fucking, it's a bad look, bro.
And in the immediate future, after that happens, what did he do? He didn't do anything. He had one catch for 1 yard in the first half. If you're going to blow up like that, you at least better be able to back it up.
Right.
Go out there and make a fucking play.
Well, and if you're not in the game because your coach doesn't think you can block well enough as a tight end,
Do better.
do better.
Like my whole thing about it, and I think I tweeted about it when it happened, is I feel like if that was anybody else besides him or Mahomes, they get their ass benched.
Probably.
And that's why I was like, if Andy
Now,
Reid
with-
had any stones, he'd fucking bench his ass. Maybe
Again,
for a
now-
quarter, whatever.
Now, with Andy Reid, maybe not. Andy Reid's pretty forgiving as a head coach.
Right.
So, depending on who, maybe he wouldn't.
Like maybe getting in his face, like yelling, okay, that's one thing. But like, dude, you go up and like bumping your head coach like that?
Literally almost knocked him down.
Literally almost knocked him down and then yelling. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing?
It was
here?
a bad look.
I look at what happened the same way I look at what Mahomes did earlier in the season to the refs. I put them arm in arm with each other. Like, I feel no differently about what Mahomes did with the refs when he went off and everybody thought he was going to go out there and go after somebody, as I do with what Travis did with Andy Reid. Like, it's the exact same situation, just different people in my eyes. I think it's a bad look.
Like, because obviously coaches can scream at players all they want, and we accept that. And if he
That's kind of the dynamic, though,
right,
right? Like,
so
that's-
if he went over and screamed at him, if Kelsey went over and screamed at Reed, fine. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with you pushing him. That is like, come on, man.
I think yelling at him was a bad look, but I think putting your hands on him with yelling at him
Yeah.
was the worst look.
No, and yes,
like
exactly.
it's.
And like I said, I think if it was anybody but him or Mahomes, they would have got their asses benched.
And I'm going to tell you, maybe I'm biased in this because I have soured on Kelsey in the last year or so.
Right.
But yeah, to me, when I first saw it, I was like, man, it's fucking like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got
You're
a head
looking
coach.
like an entitled brat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's spot on, Frank. Honestly, that's spot on. You look like an entitled fucking baby.
Back
Bitch.
bitch.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yeah.
know what else is spot on?
Jason Stiller from Flagstar Bank.
That's right. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy, Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy Chinooka. So,
I also want to say that Alicia said Frank and Chris match.
We do. I haven't worn this
And
jersey
she
yet.
put a
Ali-
heart out there.
Yeah.
She loves the fact you guys match.
Alicia, I've never worn this jersey, so I wanted to wear it. So there you go. That's the reason why I'm wearing it.
I feel kind of weird matching with them. Not gonna lie.
Oh, it's weird for sure.
I feel
I'm
weird
like,
sitting here.
If you feel weird about matching, you saw me walk in with this. Why did you put it on?
I feel weird sitting here with you two matching, but it is what we're here now.
We're
This
here
is
now.
where we're at.
Yes.
This is where we're at. Let's let it linger.
Yes. So, going back to the game, I came across something earlier today, and I couldn't believe it until I actually read it, and I was like, we truly do live in the Matrix, 100%. We live in the Matrix.
You talking about the number 13?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. If you go back to the 2020 Super Bowl, which was Chiefs and Niners, and the 2024 Super Bowl obviously was Chiefs and Niners. Obviously, they played each other. Lamar Jackson won the MVP both years. Or Lamar Jackson was the favorite to win in 224, which he ended up winning.
I saw this.
The Ravens won the NFC or the AFC North both years. The Texans win the AFC South with 10 wins, which they did both years. Oh, there's a lot. This is fucking crazy. The Chiefs win the AFC West, which they did both years. The Chargers were last in the AFC West, which
Both
they
years.
were both years. Washington was last in the NFC East with 13 losses, which they were both years. The Panthers are last in the NFC South.
Which they were.
Yep.
Both years.
The Niners win the NFC West.
Which they did.
The Cardinals last in the NFC West. The Chiefs were the home team. The Niners were the number 1 seed. Billie Eilish won Song of the Year,
Did she win Song of the Year this year, too?
apparently. The Chiefs were plus
Or
six-
no, she didn't. Miley Cyrus did.
Did she?
Well, are we talking Grammys?
I have no fucking idea. I don't watch any of that shit.
Yeah, I
have
think
no
Miley
idea.
did during the Grammys.
If it's whatever it is, she won Song of the Year for something. Anyways.
Oh.
The Chiefs were plus 600 preseason to win the Super Bowl. The Niners beat the Packers in the playoffs. Bruins and Maple Leafs finished top 5 in the East, and they're currently both top 5 in the East. The Avalanche finished second in the West. The Avalanche are currently second in the West. Celtics and Bucks both finished top 3 in the East. They're both currently top 3 in the East. Nuggets finished third in the West. The Nuggets are currently third in the West. Number 1 seed wins college football playoff. 2 undefeated teams play in the college football playoff. Loser of the college football playoff lost by 3 scores. Joel Embiid has surgery to repair left hand, and Joel Embiid has surgery to repair left knee. Panthers fire Ron Rivera after a loss. Redskins fire Ron Rivera after a loss. And the winner of the Citrus Bowl scores 35 points. We live in the Matrix, people.
The election's the same.
The election's the same. We live in the Matrix, people.
The only thing that's not lined up to being the same is the fact that the world shut down a month later after the last time this all went on.
Yeah.
So, heads up, people.
Well, let's knock on some fucking wood or something, man, because
Dennis is dreading March 13th.
yes, same, brother. That's when it all went to shit. So, all right,
Good stuff.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah.
And now,
Makes you feel real good, doesn't it?
Nope,
why not?
no. No. I- no. No.
Now, for all the clowns out there that said I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl or I'm not going to watch the NFL anymore because of Taylor Swift or for whatever, or because of kneeling or whatever reason. Yeah, nobody cares because this was the highest rated sporting event ever.
It was the highest rated TV show
Highest
since
rated
like
TV
the
yes.
fucking moon landing.
Yeah, so
It
they
wa-
don't. So I'm just saying the NFL they don't need you. and
that's-
stop with the fake
what,
outrage.
and that's why I call bullshit
Oh yeah.
that people didn't watch.
Oh, absolutely.
I call bullshit.
Of course.
I'm not going to watch this game. Okay.
Okay,
All right,
dude.
the numbers tell you that you're a liar.
Yep.
But if you didn't actually watch, you're like one of the only fucking people to not watch it.
Yep.
Like at all, ever. Like one of the only people on the planet not to watch it. So if you really didn't watch it and you're really not lying, you're like one of the only motherfuckers to not watch it.
I also feel like at this point, if you didn't watch it, you'd be telling everybody you didn't watch it because that's how those people are.
Oh yeah.
And nobody's fucking saying
They're like
they didn't watch
CrossFit
it.
person.
And nobody
They're
would
exactly like
nobody
a
would
CrossFit
believe
person.
you.
I do CrossFit. Congratulations, you're the best at exercising.
At
Good
this
job.
at this point in time, if anybody were to tell me I didn't watch the Super Bowl, I would look at him and go, "You're a fucking liar.
Like a liar.
You're a liar. You watched at least 5 fucking minutes of that game, and I know you did. I know you fucking did. Shut the fuck up. There's no fucking way."
I turned it on for the halftime show. Yeah,
you didn't.
well, what'd you do between when the game was going on and the halftime show? Because you had to know when the
Right,
game was
right.
going on.
How did you know when the halftime show was? Exactly.
Exactly. So you absolutely watched it.
I watched it for the commercials. You still watched
You still
the
watched
fucking game.
it.
You had the game on. So
Speaking of the commercials, I wasn't a huge fan of them. I didn't really think there was that many good ones.
Bust.
Like I like the M&M's one. I thought that was pretty funny, and I love the Schwarzenegger State Farm one.
So the Schwarzenegger State Farm one
That
was
was
fucking
funny.
great.
That was great.
I
That
did
shit was
enjoy
funny.
that one. I liked one that Frank did not like.
Which one?
It's so embarrassing.
The walking one.
I like the walking
I
one
know
too,
you would.
only
The
because
walking right, that's you.
Hi,
You know.
you know. But the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Dunkin' Donuts one,
I was
like
so embarrassed for Ben Affleck in that.
I like how over the top it was with how cheesy it was, because I just like the fact that those guys do that shit. Like, they don't have to do that shit, but they do it just for the fuck of it. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
You
I
know
got a chuckle out of it. Like it was like
yeah,
okay.
I thought it was
okay.
funny. I liked it.
Right?
You know they sold those suits, right?
Did they really?
Dunkin' Donuts posted those suits like 5 minutes after that commercial. They sold out in less than 10 minutes.
It's fucking great.
Kidding me?
It's fucking great.
If I see anyone wearing one
right?
of those, I swear to God, I'm screaming.
There was
them.
a couple other ones that I did like. The thing I didn't like, and Frankie, you and I talked about this during the game. All the movie trailers
full trailer online.
were a portion of it with full trailer online denoted in the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to fucking look that shit up right now. I'm watching a goddamn fucking football game. I'm not going to look up on my fucking internet right now. I'll look it up later, and I did for most of them. Like, I've seen most of them at this point. But, like, I know you went right to the fucking Deadpool one.
Yeah, I immediately, as soon as it said full trailer online, I went online.
And I watched it later on.
I did the same thing for Twisters.
So, Twister, I've seen that one since then. I didn't do it then. But, again, all of them for me, I looked at afterwards.
Is that a remake or is it a sequel?
It's a sequel.
Okay.
It is
From
a
what I understand.
sequel that has nothing to do with
Yeah,
the
like,
original.
it doesn't attach to the original
So
characters,
it's
really.
A remake? Kind of what it seems.
So it's a continuation without actually completely tying into the original cast.
So it's a remake, is what you're telling me?
I don't know.
Like, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah. I still want to see it. It still looked fucking good. I'll be honest with you. I was all about. I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. The Deadpool trailer fucking looks great.
Did you go back and see any of the Easter eggs, like the Easter egg breakdown and all that?
No.
Oh, go check that out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that tonight. No, I was all about Deadpool and fucking Wolverine together in the first place. Like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
This one I might actually see.
Like I know that, and I like that about you because you normally don't like things like this.
I don't, but I like Ryan Reynolds and I like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
So I might actually see this one.
I was dying right off the beginning, though.
Like,
These
it's-
guys walk in, and he goes something along the lines of, "Pegging's not new for me, guys,
but
it is for Disney."
but it is for Disney. And he looks right in the game. Yeah, it's to me. I like that one. I didn't even have to see that trailer to know that I was gonna go see that movie as soon as it came out. But the trailer, I'm like, oh,
If I'm
Yeah.
working afternoons at that point, I will be going at midnight.
yes.
I think that's fair.
And if you're working afternoons at that point, I will be going to see it with you at midnight when you get off work because we'll just get tickets and go see it because I'm going to see that movie when it comes out at midnight.
If I'm working mornings, not a chance. I need my sleep.
Yeah. Well, if I'm working mornings, I'll go see it earlier in the day than at midnight because they have midnight showings are not really at
That's
midnight
true.
anymore.
Midnight showings are
Midnight
at like
showings
3
sta-
in the afternoon now.
Midnight showings start at like fucking 4 now. So, But yeah, that's the one thing I can complain about the commercials is all the trailers for movies that I remember. I told you it was like 12 movie trailers, and it was like 12 to 14 movie and TV show trailers that were going to come out during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I believe there was that many.
Yeah.
They were all full trailer online. I was like, spend the fucking money and let me watch it during the Super Bowl. Fuck you. Just spend the fucking money, man.
And you see how many commercials they didn't have like slots for, or that didn't buy slots essentially, because CBS was filling so much shit in with their own programming.
It was
Oh yeah, they had a lot of commercials for their own.
Well, it
like
was
Paramount Plus stuff.
it was
Oh,
$7
yeah.
million for a fucking 30-second commercial.
Yeah.
$7 million.
And so
for
many people
30
were
seconds?
just like, fuck that. We'll do it. We'll put it online. Like the Lay's one that I was telling you guys about with Gronk and Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Didn't even air. It was
didn't.
just online.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
trying to think. There was a couple other ones that I liked. I'd say overall the commercials were kind of a dud.
Yep. I would agree with that.
There was a couple that I enjoyed. I would say the one I enjoyed probably the most was the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
That was great.
Yeah.
Neighbor.
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 I appreciated
Neighbor?
them.
That's great.
Neighbor. Neighbor.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said.
I'm saying neighbor.
I appreciated them recutting the Carl Weathers Gronk commercial to honor
Yeah,
Carl
that was
Weathers
cool.
at the end.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was a nice
That was-
homage
that was
and a
cool.
nice salute to Carl Weathers. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that
Speaking of
was-
which, we didn't even talk about that. Like, rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, man.
For
Like,
sure.
one of the, like, that dude has loaned him.
Chubbs Peterson, baby.
That dude has been a portion of such great sports movies over his career.
You stand over that house. Tuesday's Gone's playing. Hey, Happy.
Hey,
Got my
Happy.
hand back.
And the Rocky, you know, I mean, like the dude was just fucking awesome.
I don't even
Dude
know
was
if
awesome.
there's a more iconic movie than Rocky.
No, I mean, but the guy was just awesome. So, yeah, rest in peace to Carl Weathers.
Yes, certainly.
Dennis says the Stone Cold with a mullet commercial.
Oh, that
I
was
missed it.
What was that a commercial for?
I saw it, but
Kawasaki.
was it Kawasaki?
Yeah, it was Kawasaki. Yeah,
I saw it, but I didn't really see it.
like I saw it. It just didn't really do much for me.
Dennis said releasing the teaser for Deadpool 3 made his night. He said definitely going opening night.
Yeah. What did you think of the halftime show?
You weren't the target audience.
I wasn't the target audience, which is fine, but
Right.
I will tell you that my reaction in our group text was sleeping emoji.
It was. Yeah.
Other than the last minute or two, which had Ludacris and Lil Jon.
Yep.
The rest was very boring for me. And don't get me wrong, in hindsight, watching the halftime show, hearing the songs, yeah, I know all of Usher's stuff. And he's put out a lot of iconic songs. The show for me was kind of snoozy.
I like
It was
Usher.
Alicia Keys was good.
They had to edit
And
her
she-
too.
Did
Because I
they?
guess at one point her voice cracked, so they quickly cut it
yeah.
out before
Yeah.
it
So,
aired.
so like I like Alicia Keys. I think she's beautiful.
Yep.
I love that woman.
So does Usher.
Yes, so does Usher. Yeah. But
I was glad her husband came out and was like, I don't have any problems with what they did on stage.
yeah, like
Because
that.
I was like,
I mean, it was a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie. It looked a little creepy.
that could have caused some problems for a lesser man.
It was a little creepy. But other than that, like her portion of it, I did like because I like her, and not that I don't like Usher. I just thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It
That
was
was kind
not-
of my thing. It was like I like Usher, but it didn't do anything for me. I'm like, especially comparative to like some of these past shows. Like Rihanna was awesome last year. I thought.
I'm with you. A lot of people last year thought Rihanna was not good. I loved Rihanna.
I thought she was great, especially being pregnant, dude.
Yeah.
I thought she was fantastic, and even the year before that with Dre and Snoop and Eminem and all that.
That was a hell of a
That
performance.
was great. I thought it was fantastic. This one was just, it was mid.
It was bleh.
It was mid.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. But
you?
I was specifically in the age range of the target audience.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what they were aiming for, is people right around when I graduated high school.
I just think his catalog is not tailored to do a halftime show.
So a lot of his stuff is kind of
It's more like I don't say ballady, but it's more like slow
Yeah,
paced, like
I mean-
R&B.
His
Yeah.
number one song is about cheating on his wife and
Right.
knocking a girl up. Like,
Confessions, right?
Confessions?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite songs of his, actually. And I forgot he sang that song until he did it at the halftime show, and I was like, "Oh shit, that is Usher."
It's like everybody's favorite song, and it says a lot about us as a country.
It really kind of does. Really kind of does, actually.
But I mean, when you do like OMG or you do Hey, or, you know, it's like, or yeah, it's like okay, those songs, yeah, in a Super Bowl halftime, those are the songs that work. But a lot of his stuff, again, it's slower, it's more R&B.
Yeah.
It's like okay, this doesn't really work.
For me, it was more about the performance itself. There wasn't enough there for the performance.
That
for me.
I agree with. 10
mean,
years
like-
ago, that would have been a perfect performance for him because he would have moved differently.
Yeah, I was gonna say there just wasn't enough performance for me. I feel like at the halftime show of the Super Bowl, like it's not just about the music, right? It's about performing.
Yep.
And for me, it was
the roller skates didn't do
it was
much for
it was
me.
a very I guess
That was kind of impressive what they did on roller skates, though.
to take Chris's words, it was kind of a mid performance for
Yeah.
me.
I went back, like I had to go back and watch the roller skating portion. A chick fell off the stage.
Did she really?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Yes. So
Okay, so
go
my-
back and watch it at some
If
point.
I were to have
think
seen
it's-
that-
I think it's on the left-hand side of the stage.
My vote
She
would have been-
falls right off the stage.
My vote on this performance would have been way higher if I'd have seen that.
Now that's funny you say that because as soon as they came out on the roller skates, I looked at Lady Friend and I go, I want to see somebody fall off this fucking stage. With
They
this
did.
roller skate.
And somebody did it. You didn't
Apparently
see
I
it.
didn't see it.
She,
But
she released the TikTok. She's got a black eye and everything.
Oh,
And she came right out and was like, they called me the night before the Super Bowl because somebody got COVID. And I don't know how to roller skate. But I told them I did because
because you want to be
you're
in the
going to
show.
dance
Yeah,
with Usher.
Exactly.
She's like, so I went out in the parking lot half the night and was teaching myself how to roller skate. And she goes, I did great for like the first 30 seconds. And then she,
and then
just
she fell off,
ate it.
and then she ate it off the stage. Oh,
I have to go try to find that.
God damn it. My vote on his performance would have been so much higher if I'd have seen that.
That's great. But yeah, I literally said that to Lady Friend as soon as they came out on the roller skates. I'm like, I want to see somebody fall off this fucking stage right now.
See somebody,
I really
wanna see
do.
somebody bite it.
I didn't even know it until earlier. I saw the thing on TikTok and I was like, going back immediately. I was like, oh yeah, she just
Oh, she totally
she's
did.
there and then she's not.
And then she's gone. And she's gone.
And she's gone. Well, that's unfortunate.
So
Is it though? I mean, it's unfortunate for her.
It is unfortunate for her.
it's
I
fortunate
mean,
for
it
the
was,
rest of us,
Yes, exactly.
For those of us who find things like that completely fucking hilarious.
which I absolutely do.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
So, I'm going to look it up later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to CBS. Despite the fact that we had to hear Tony Romo.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jim!
I tweeted at CBS. I'm like, please, for everyone, just end this.
Oh,
End
Jim!
it. End it.
I cannot stand Tony Romo at this point.
It's
And the
done,
fact
man.
that they put him in a fucking commercial too was like, guys, you're oversaturating us with this fucking clown at this point. Ooh, Jim! Stop. Fucking stop.
Trying to sound like Macho Man. It's like, dude, stop.
Ooh.
It was his first Super Bowl though, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it?
So congratulations to Tony Romo for finally making it to a Super Bowl.
I thought he had done one before this.
I think it's his first Super Bowl.
Really?
I'm almost positive it is.
Well, my shout out to CBS wants to go to the amount of times that they put Miss Swift.
It was
on
like less than a
camera.
minute.
It was 54 seconds total. Now the amount of cuts, it was like 10 or 11 or something like that.
Fine.
But right, totally great. Now anybody losing their mind over it right now is completely fucking stupid. 54 seconds is the
Right.
amount of time she was on camera.
It's like when
And I want to give them kudos because it could have been so much worse.
right.
And even if it was more than that, I still would have been happy with it because they dumbed it down a little bit. It was not all about her and that booth and all that stuff. Like it was, they put it in at the right times. When he made a play, they showed her.
And that's fine.
And that's the way I'm all about that. She's there supporting her guy, right? That's her boyfriend. That's her man.
I mean, shit. Like
what-
when the Lakers were good, like they would always clap back to Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
all the
Knicks
time.
with
The Knicks with
Spike.
Spike Lee, yes. They would do
But,
it
like,
all the time.
So even with Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany, like, so they show her reacting to him making plays, which is I'm good with that because that shows I'm okay with that. You're showing somebody showing love for their significant other.
They didn't even show the beer chugging.
Right, but like
The beer chugging was only shown in stadium.
Right. But like I want to give them kudos for not oversaturating it and doing it when it was appropriate.
Yes.
And the fact that anybody who has a problem with it at this point, you just are complaining to complain
Yes.
because
You're
they
showing
didn't-
your fake outrage.
Yes,
It's
they did
like,
not
it's
oversaturate us
fake
with
outrage.
it.
Stop.
They showed her when he made a play, which is totally fucking fine. She's there supporting her man. That is allowed, guys. That's when you should see
It's
her on camera.
encouraged.
Exactly.
Just like I would hope your man or woman would encourage
would
you.
encourage you and support you. Like that's appropriate.
And if you really don't like her, you probably like Blake Lively, and she was shown on screen every fucking time.
I am all about them showing
I know
Blake
you are,
Lively on
and that's
camera.
what I'm saying.
I am
Like,
all
if
about
you don't
that.
like Taylor, that's fine. There were other people in that booth too that I'm sure you weren't complaining about saying.
Nope. Blake Lively is one I will never complain about seeing.
I told
now
you the
Taylor
same
Swift,
thing.
I could care less. I really could give a shit less. But I'm all about the fact that she's put all the hate away. I'm all about the fact that she's there supporting the guy she's dating, her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
That is something as a society we should fucking encourage. Supporting your significant other in whatever they're doing.
Just supporting people in general.
Well, supporting your loved ones in general. Like, that's encouraged. It should be, at least. But, yeah, I Chris, I think you hit on the fake outrage portion of it. Like,
That's exactly what it
if
is.
if you're complaining today,
It's because the internet's telling you to be mad about it.
yeah, and
It's literally what it is.
It's just stupid at this point, man. Like, just let it go.
Yeah, the internet's telling you to be
Let it
mad
go.
about it, so you got to be, quote, mad about it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Early on, when it happened, when it started up, right, it did get oversaturated.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It was too
before
much.
kickoff, dude.
Right, like,
it was like a half hour of
Well,
her on screen.
And I'm talking
before
earlier
kickoff.
on in the year too. Like earlier on
Oh,
in the
yeah.
year, it was like fucking too much, guys. All right, come on.
The first couple weeks, I understood it because it was a new thing, and it was what everybody was talking about, and it was gonna draw eyes. But there was a period, like right in the middle there, where we could have just done it the same way they did it during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be overdone at that point. And you're talking to somebody who's never going to complain about looking at it.
No, you will not.
No, you will not. You will absolutely
But yeah, I think at this point, everyone needs to kind of shut the fuck up about it. CBS did a great job with it. I think they did a great job with the coverage, other than the fact they had Jim
That's
on their announce
like,
team.
I know they owe him quite a bit of money if they wanted to buy him out or whatever.
Buy him out, please.
But they absolutely need to get Greg Olson in that booth. He's
Yeah.
so much better.
Just get third leg in that booth, man. Go ahead.
Like
Greg third leg. Go ahead. Get him in the booth.
right.
What was that rap song he did when he was in
Oh, it
college?
was yeah. Yeah, that was
Get
bad.
Greg the third leg in that booth,
Yeah,
man.
that
Go
was,
ahead.
That was a bad one. But yeah, that booth needs to change. It's just
God, I can't take Tony Romo anymore, man. Like it's so fucking bad, dude.
and you see even with Nance, he's just like I'm done with you.
It literally. I know we've said this before. We said it for a couple years now. It's literally like watching the announcers from Dodgeball,
yeah.
where he just like Tony Romo is fucking.
He's cotton.
Cotton.
He's cotton.
Speaking of which, that fit perfectly with Usher's performance. Luda came out full dodgeball uniform.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm like it really is
No,
that.
he was
and-
Pepper. He was Pepper.
Pepper Brooks,
He was
yeah,
Pepper Brooks,
yeah. Cotton
was the Cotton was yeah. Cotton was
Cotton
Jim
McKnight
Nance,
is Jim Nance, yeah.
Pepper Brooks.
He's a Cotton,
yeah.
and Jim Nance is just literally looking over at
God,
fucking
it's
Tony
like,
Romo,
God,
just
I
like
hate you.
I can't believe I'm fucking doing this still.
I swear every time Romo started talking, I heard Nance go,
It's you could almost hear his eyes roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
it
there
was
was
that
a
bad.
sigh that would just immediately start.
Yeah.
You know, Jim,
Ooh, Jim.
Like I'm sorry, like a broadcast like that, it shouldn't be awkward, ever.
we also shouldn't talk about it. Like that's what you hope for.
Right. Like with Madden and Summerall, it was smooth, it was done, it was fucking beautiful. Fucking beautiful.
And all that was said about it afterwards was they did a great job. Like there shouldn't be a conversation about it.
I mean, yeah, you would
Romo
make
is
fun of
so
Madden
fucking
because
bad.
he
He says
way
the
he talks,
things that
but-
John Madden
Boom!
says.
Yeah, right.
Boom.
But the broadcast itself, you weren't like,
Right.
this sucked.
You would
Because it
make fun-
didn't suck.
You would make fun of Madden a little bit because he did some odd things, but like he didn't do odd things like Tony Romo does, where you're like, I can't stand this anymore. Madden did odd things where you're like, it adds to the booth, right?
Right,
It adds to what he does.
Yep.
I'm kind of down with it. It's a little weird. He's a weird dude, but I'm down with the boom and the pow and the whatever the fucking Batman shit he did. Like he draws it, pow, bang, pow. Okay, that was Madden, and people loved him for that. And it was you were almost endeared to him for that stuff like that.
He didn't take away from it.
No,
he
but-
added to it.
And Tony Romo is just odd and fucked up in a totally different way, where you're like, I can't stand to hear the soundless man's voice anymore, and I know Jim Nance can't either.
Well, it's like even when he was like calling out plays, you're like, well, now it's all of a sudden I feel like he's getting them like wrong. It's like, dude,
I feel like he doesn't study the game as much as he used to. When he first started doing it,
he doesn't need to.
The first year, well, because he relies on his shtick. He's become a cartoon of himself.
Yep.
But he was a decent game manager when he was playing. So when he went to the booth, it wasn't hard for him to still know what was going on in that game. Like you said, if you stop studying it and you stop trying to be that game manager, you lose it.
and not to mention the game has evolved since he's played.
Yeah, it's a different era.
Yes. So,
But I think if you still study the game
Yeah.
as an announcer, as a play-by-play,
well, you should.
You can still continue to make those play calls
You
and know
should.
what's going to happen because
how the game is
it's
evolving.
It's
You almost
part
have
of,
to.
It's part of your job, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely. You should absolutely have to study because the game is evolving every year.
But he's literally become a cartoon of himself. And if I have to hear "Ooh, Jim" one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I mean,
Like
it was
Macho
getting,
Man pushing out a shit.
Right.
I mean, it was getting to the point I was going to put it on the Nickelodeon feed of the game and listen to those guys.
I was cracking up.
Nate Burleson's on there. I
He's
like
good.
him.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
They showed, somebody posted it on Twitter. When they showed Travis Kelce, it would say Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great.
That is great. I like that.
You know what made me sad, though? Did either of you guys switch over to ESPN after the game?
No. I turned it off immediately after the game was over and went to bed.
I went to...
Same. I literally shut off my TV and went
off
straight
and went
upstairs.
to bed.
I went over to ESPN and just kind of let it play in the background while I was scrolling through my phone on TikTok and shit. Berman is really sounding rough.
See now?
He's bad.
He's hit the point where they should,
Yeah, he should
kind
be
of
off.
they should kind of just drag him off the set. Yeah, kind of like Terry Bradshaw.
Him and Booger were out there. And no, he sounds worse than Bradshaw.
Oh, jeez.
Like
What?
to a point, it's sad. Like he doesn't sound like himself.
Oh,
Is he like Lee Corso bad?
Honestly, and I'm not making fun of it, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a stroke at some point and they didn't tell us about it.
and
Like,
that's how he
it
sounds.
Just
Oh,
he sounds off.
wow,
Okay.
He doesn't sound like himself anymore.
wow.
Got it.
That's why I say it made me sad watching it because it was just like I used to enjoy this guy. I used to
Oh, Berman
enjoy
was the shit back in the day,
yeah,
man.
and it's just, he's not the same guy, and I question why they even put him out there anymore.
My football heyday of like really falling in love with the NFL was
Him and Stu.
primetime. NFL
Oh, him and
primetime.
Tom Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NFL primetime. Sunday nights. Like that's how we like I was into fantasy football really early on in life, man. I was 9 years old when I
Yeah.
started doing it with my dad. And I'd be at my dad's house on a Sunday night. And before in between the Sunday afternoon games and that Sunday night game, even before the Sunday night game, I think it was even before Sunday night games. It was after that afternoon game we would watch NFL primetime. And that was when we would see all the highlights because you weren't as saturated with it as you are now. You didn't know all the stuff your players did during the day.
Right.
We watch NFL primetime, and you watch to see what your guys did, and you try to get the stats as they show what they did. They show the highlights, and then they put the stats at the bottom of the screen, and you're like writing down. I'm writing down what our guys did and what they what the other team did, and that's how I would get my scores. The first scores I had before what was it? What was the newspaper we get the next day where it had all the stats in it? I'm trying to think of USA Today. The USA Today was what we would get the next day.
Yeah.
To show literally the paper itself.
Right.
Like this is kids. This is before. This is before the internet.
This
Really,
is old school.
This is old school. Like we had to
This
get the
is before
fucking,
my time,
Like we had to get the
okay?
fucking paper, the newspaper, the actual newspaper
see what
to
your
see
guys
what the
did.
guys did.
Yeah.
To see the box scores, see what players did. And so that would be the early indications of, man, am I in this game? Am I losing? Am I winning? Going into Monday night, and that will be the first indications of what you did. And that the NFL prime time was one of the first things I remember about falling in love with football and NFL football. It was fucking great.
It was
Loved
the
it.
3 things that made me fall in love with ESPN: Berman, Stuart Scott, Barry Melrose.
Stuart Scott, rest in peace. I miss that guy too. That guy was awesome.
That was
that guy was
a
the
guy
shit.
that I wasn't a huge fan of at first, but he grew on me, and I ended up liking him. It was because he was solid. With him and was it Rich Eisen? He
Yep.
did the show with.
Yep.
It's one of the best versions of SportsCenter. It was fantastic.
Stuart Scott was fucking awesome. Yep.
That
But it was those 3 guys. Is the whole reason I would watch ESPN basically all day long, because
Right.
it was one of those 3 we're going to be on at most of the time.
Yep.
that was good stuff.
Yeah, it's sad that Berman hit that point, but yeah.
And another thing and we've talked about this. I think it was last year. When you present these trophies, for the love of God, give it to the players. Stop giving it to the fucking owner. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like, all the owner does is sign checks. Like, that's it. Like,
That's
the
it.
players are actually doing the work. The players and coaches are doing the work.
And for the most part,
They
if the-
should be the first ones to touch this trophy.
Well, not to mention, for the most part, if the owner's doing their job correctly, they don't even have anything to do with who's hired and who's fired,
Right.
And
Right.
who's signed and who's not.
Right.
Like they shouldn't have any part of that.
No.
So what the fuck are you doing getting the
There's
trophy?
still only like 3 or 4 that actually are a part of it. Because I know Mark Davis is. I know Jerry Jones.
Jerry
is.
Jones.
Jared Jones.
It
Jerry
sounds
Jones.
like Arthur Blank is trying to put himself in that position.
Arthur Blank just stepped into that position this
Yeah.
last year, I think, or is going to step into it this coming year.
Yeah. So after that, I don't really know who else is still a part of it. But
Yeah, Chris, I'm with you on that one. I just don't see any need for it. Why? They're the owner of the fucking team. What do they do other than own the team? Like, come on, man.
you're
If
the checkbook.
If you touch it at a certain point, great. Because you own the team, okay, you can hold the trophy at a certain point. But the players are the ones that fucking did it.
Yep.
They're the ones that did it.
Like, I don't care which player touches it first. It really doesn't matter to me.
I'm even for the coach touching it first. That's
Fine.
great.
I'm fine with that, too.
Yeah, give it to the coach.
I'm fine with
fine,
that, too.
but,
But,
like-
the owner should not be the first one to touch the trophy.
No.
I'm sorry. That's kind of a joke. And honestly, it's kind of a slap in the face to the players. But, and also, don't call yourselves world champions because you're not. You won the
Here we go again.
I knew
Here
this
we go
was
again.
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
Patrick Mahomes said it twice. He said, and I was like, "You're not. Just stop saying it. I gotta listen to Chris if you say it."
God damn it, Patrick! Stop saying it. You son of a bitch. We're not telling you you're wrong. We just knew it was going to
because I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
You're not. You're not.
It's just
You're-
funny when I hear world champions.
I know.
The first thing I think of is how much
How much it irritates Chris. I know. The second thing I think of is how it's wrong. The first thing I think of is,
Me.
this irritates the shit out of
It
Chris.
does. It's irritating. What's even worse is when they say, like, NFL world champions. It's like,
Yeah.
well, which one
That's
is it?
that's not the same.
Like, which one is it?
But that's not the same.
Or like Super Bowl, whatever, world champions.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
You're just Super Bowl champions. That's all it is.
It doesn't make any sense.
NFL champions.
In the words of Cat Williams, no.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Easy. That guy reads 3,000 books a year.
Like NBA world champions. Well,
No.
Which one is it? Okay. Just no.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong.
There's plenty you are wrong on.
Oh, absolutely. But this one.
But this one is not it. This one, not it.
No,
Not
certainly
it.
But we digress.
You know what else isn't wrong?
The Joe Wright Group.
Bingo.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 4 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the Wright Group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, Shane Wilson, and Alex DeRocher a call today. Phone number is 248-535-4750 to fulfill all your real estate needs.
There you go. Sorry.
I was like, what was that about?
I got a text when we were talking about game managers earlier. Apparently, it sounded like we were saying gay managers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Gay
There was a
managers?
few times you said it, and it sounded like gay managers.
I mean,
I mean, me probably too, but
hey, I mean, whatever. Maybe there is gay managers out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay then.
I don't know exactly what they manage. Gays? I don't know.
Anyways, let's try to move on before we. So I think I got the title for the show, the Gay Manager Show. Is that it?
Gay managers.
Gay Manager Show. I don't know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Is it gay or game? Game.
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 There you go.
game
Game. Game.
Unbelievable.
So they came out. I see they released the Super Bowl odds for next season,
Yeah.
and this one has me perplexed a little bit.
Because San Francisco's won, right?
San Francisco is the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
I mean, they just literally got beat by Kansas City, who is number 2, but they are the odds-on favorite next year. Now,
aren't they also going to be in salary cap trouble?
now.
No, I think they're going to be fine next year. But
Alicia just said I had to ask Eric if he was saying gay or game. Okay, apparently when we say game managers, we need to pronounce game managers. Game managers. Game managers. We have to pronounce it like that from now on.
Come on, go through the exercises. Ow now, brown cow.
How now, brown cow. Lilo, Lilo, Lilo.
peas and carrots. Peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots. Peas and carrots. Peas and carrots. So yeah, San Francisco is the odds-on favorite at plus 450 next year to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City's number 2,
Yeah.
plus 750. Baltimore's 3, plus 900. Detroit is tied for 4 at plus 1200 with Buffalo. Then comes one that I don't agree with, Dallas. No matter what happens, they will not win the Super Bowl. Plus 1500.
Jesus. That's
What am I missing?
It's a Rey Mysterio tweet.
Oh,
It just says this motherfucker is everywhere, but at home being a good dad to Tom and Nick. And it shows a picture of Rey Mysterio.
oh, that's Tom and Nick, man. I like Nick is you can't find him. He's never around.
You never can find Tom.
You can never
Or
find.
You can't find Nick.
You can't find Nick.
Tom's
Nick,
always around.
Nick is never around, man. Nick Mysterio. It's mysterious as to where the fuck he is.
all right. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
So, going into next year, obviously the Chiefs are going to play on opening night, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
That's
right.
going to be in Brazil, correct?
No, the Eagles are playing in Brazil.
Eagles
Eagles
are
are
playing
playing in
Brazil.
Brazil.
Who are they playing out of these choices? Baltimore, Cincinnati, Denver, Houston, Vegas, Chargers, Saints, or Bucks?
Houston.
Baltimore.
I'm with you. I think it's either going to be Baltimore or Cincinnati, but I'm going to take Baltimore.
I think it's either gonna be Baltimore or Houston.
Okay.
Because
I'm
Houston
saying
was
Houston
such a
because-
good story from this year.
Yeah. And they showcase the young talent that way.
Yeah. But I'm still gonna say Baltimore. I think it's gonna be Baltimore. But
I think it is
if
too.
I had two choices, it would be one of those.
And
two.
I'll take Cincinnati over Houston simply because of Joe Burrow.
I'm going with Houston only because of the story from this year and how great they
And not
were
to mention there's a
compared to,
history
like-
there.
There
Obviously,
is, yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good point.
So I'm gonna take one of those
I-
two. But I think it's gonna. Be
I was gonna say I think number one with the Bullets gonna be Baltimore. I think it's gonna be Baltimore.
I'm going Houston.
okay.
We want to log these?
I mean, I'm not, but you guys
Okay.
can.
No, we
you
could
can
talk-
somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not too worried about it. It was just
My memory's for shit, so
just-
if
it was
we
just
don't log
some-
it somewhere, I'll
It
forget.
was just
it.
something to bring up. I heard it earlier
Okay.
today on the show, and I figured we'd bring it up. But something that we'll see because there's some intriguing matchups that could happen. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, early look at next year. We
Yep.
just talked about Super Bowl odds
Yes.
as far as betting.
yes,
The NFL draft
yep,
is here.
it is. I've heard that.
Is here.
Yeah, I've heard that.
early thoughts on the draft, whatever they may be. What are your early key thoughts on the draft? Whether it be somebody you think a certain team is going to draft, whether you think it's who's going to go number one, whatever it is, just an early instant thought.
I think the most intriguing part of it is what the Bears are going to do.
You nailed it for me. You nailed it for me.
That kind of sets up this whole thing.
It really does. Do you think they go away from Justin Fields?
Yes.
And they go with Caleb Williams?
Who I think is going to be a bust.
See, to me,
Yeah, I've said it
I
all
think
along that he's
I
gonna be
think
a
that's the
bust.
worst thing they could do. Because
get
I
it.
don't think he's gonna be.
I
As
understand
many-
it from a financial point of view.
I do to a certain extent, but I can tell you that in my opinion, and I think you guys would agree with me, as many things as you could possibly get on Justin Fields for, I think Caleb Williams doesn't even sniff Justin Fields' jockstrap as to what he's going to be in the NFL. I just don't.
There was an idea that one of the TV stations presented, and I thought it was genius. Take number one, trade to number two. Let Washington take Caleb Williams. Act like you're going to still draft a quarterback, trade back to number three. Let whoever wants Drake May take Drake May. If New England wants him, great. If not, trade to somebody else. Drop back to three, take Marvin Harrison Jr. The amount of draft capital that you stock up by making those two moves is insane.
See, and
You
that's
could have 3-4 picks in the second round if you do that.
see, and to me, even if they trade back once, right? You've already got 2 picks in the top 10. You've got 1 and 9, right? I believe. If you trade back to somebody who wants Caleb Williams or Drake May, whichever one it may be at that point in time, because who knows? Maybe Drake May takes a jump after the fucking combine, whatever. You trade back with somebody who wants a quarterback. You keep Justin Fields, and you actually utilize him correctly, and you draft a bunch more pieces to enhance your entire team. You already have a guy who, depending on who you are, can it's the opinion of a lot of people, depending on who you are, that he can win for you if you utilize him correctly and get more pieces around him.
And you got rid of your OC. So Eberflus has a clean slate,
Was
To
this like
start-
his third, fourth OC?
I think it's his third.
but you have a clean slate to get somebody in there who knows how to utilize Justin Fields.
Well,
And that depends upon you listening to them.
and that it's to me, I think he has the talent. If you build with pieces around him, and you have so much, you have so much opportunity to build in this draft because you already have number 1 and number 9. And if you trade back from number 1 with somebody who wants a quarterback, you get more. And they've got more in the draft. Like, utilize that correctly, man,
But
and
could
just
you
put
imagine
more pieces
that
around him.
team with Justin Fields, who can pass? He's not
DJ
just a running quarterback.
DJ Moore,
DJ Moore
who had a hell of a year last year with Justin Fields at quarterback,
and Marvin Harrison Jr.
That'd be solid.
and get an offensive lineman at 9. Draft defense in round 2, or if you trade back and you get an extra first, like take defensive line or a corner. I mean, you can get some solid pieces in this draft.
You could be the Lions from this year, next year, if you do this right.
Absolutely
But it's the Bears.
And I was going to say that, honestly, Frank, is look at
the
what
Bears.
look at what the Lions did with drafting correctly.
Yeah.
Right? If you draft correctly, if you utilize your draft picks correctly, and there's been nobody in recent memory in the last few years that's done it better than Brad Holmes. Flat out. But if you do it correctly, you can build a playoff contender
This year,
fairly quickly.
with the way you finished the season too, you've got a team there. Not a great one, but you've got a team.
You've got a team.
You add those pieces to it. If you manage to get, say, 5-6 picks in the first 3 rounds, and you can hit on 4 of them, you've got a good shot at going to a playoff.
Yeah.
God, the Bears are gonna fuck this up, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they are.
if recent memory, or if recent years point to anything, yeah, they probably will.
If I'm any team,
The only thing
I
they did
trade up and go to one and do exactly that.
The only thing they didn't fuck up last year was trading and getting DJ Moore and extra draft picks.
Right.
Like that was the only they got their
that
number
was highway robbery.
It was complete highway robbery. Like they got their number one wide receiver and extra draft picks to trade out of that spot. I mean, it was insane to me what they got for that trade.
But that's taking advantage of a totally inept organization.
That's taking advantage of an organization who's even worse than you are in Carolina. They're just fucking really bad.
That's
So, but yeah, that was one of the best moves I've seen made in recent memory. Is you got your number one wide receiver and got a bunch of draft picks too. Fuck, brilliant.
not good.
They just got to do the right things with it now.
Yeah.
Dennis says it'll be snowing
Probably for the draft.
for the draft.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't doubt it either.
I mean, no. What is it? It's
End of April.
end of April.
Yeah.
And with
I mean, it
the
could
weather
be.
we've had,
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I
dude,
fucking
take
hope
a turn
not.
at some point.
Wouldn't shock me in the least.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What else are we going to touch on, boys?
I got nothing.
Nothing.
No.
We talked about wrestling last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about it a little bit before we go off the air, but Raw
Terrible.
was bad.
So boring.
So and it was bad. So we were on the air last week on Friday during SmackDown.
Yes.
Smack-
Triple H throwing
SmackDown.
some jabs there at Raw.
Yeah, which I expect at this point because they're gonna fucking drive. They're gonna turn the wheel and drive right into this fucking thing. That's what they're doing right now. They're driving right into this fucking thing. Rock is Chris. You and I are getting what we want, right? Rock is going full fucking Hollywood heel
love
at
it.
this point, which
I love it.
I am on board with. Let me see this. Let me see it play out. Hopefully you don't lose me, but I'm on board with seeing Hollywood fucking heel Rock.
Absolutely.
And Triple H is, again, steering the wheel into it. Now, what he says on wrestling, again, people need to understand, like, it kills me how many people don't realize this shit is fake.
I know, right?
as far as like, okay, when they wrestle, like, they do take bumps. They are really athletic and all that stuff. I'm not saying wrestling itself is fake. I'm saying it's fake as in, like, it's planned out. Like, it's a script.
a soap opera.
It's a script. It's a soap opera.
Yes.
Like, it's as if you're watching Young and the Restless or fucking General Hospital, or whatever the fuck they are.
And just tie it in with fucking gymnastics or something.
Right. It's a soap opera with athleticism, or whatever you want to call it. But yes, that's what it is. And it amazes me how many people really don't get that. And they're saying, oh, there's people on both sides. Oh, Triple H is saying he's the one that makes the shots. He's the one that makes the calls. And well, that's not entirely true because, they have a board and they have this and they have that and they have this.
I was going to say, when it comes specifically to WWE, yes, Triple H is in charge. But he also has bosses.
I was going to say, he also has people he answers to, but these people are like, oh, he just put down the gauntlet. He says, I make the decisions, and it's true. He makes the decisions, and he doesn't answer to anybody. And it's like, okay.
I want to live in their world.
I want to live in their world, too. It's just, but they also are saying, on the other hand, it's like, oh, Triple H is challenging The Rock. Did you hear what he said? He made jabs at The Rock, and he's just, yeah. That's called scripted. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening now, guys.
And you also know that Triple H can't wrestle anymore because he has a fucking pacemaker.
So he's not going to challenge him to a match. But yes, he was deliberately making shots at The Rock, taking shots at The Rock, which again, with the script, with the way it's playing out, I'm on board for it. I think what kills me is the people that take it so fucking real. Like, we all know we're on board for the soap opera version of what we were going to get, right? We want it to play out as far as a TV show. Like, we know it's a TV show. We want it to play out as in a scripted TV show that we want to see that gives us a payoff. Not as in we think it's all for real and we really think The Rock and Triple H are feuding.
Yeah,
and
like
really,
I don't really want to see Cody turn around and punch The Rock in the face.
and we really think The Rock truly slapped Cody without any discussion of what was going to happen. Like, he just hauled off and slapped him out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
right.
Cody was really thrown off guard. Because, listen, man to man, you get slapped like that, I don't care who the fuck slaps you like that. If another dude slaps you without you knowing it's going to come, you are swinging.
Oh, for sure.
Cody Rhodes is not any different than any other dude.
No, he would have. Yeah, he was.
You're
And
not.
Seth isn't talking shit. Seth is either getting in the middle of it or trying to break it up.
Yes. So, like, but with that being said, I Raw, SmackDown to me with this last week was decent. It was decent. I enjoyed it. Raw was pretty boring for me. I didn't enjoy it.
No, I didn't either. There really wasn't anything I was like, yeah, this is really good. I mean, I thought Seth's promo was pretty solid. But other than that, I was like, yeah, okay.
I mean, other than the fact that I'm really getting tired of hearing Cody's story.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which now I have to hear from Seth too. Like, goddamn, Seth, can you
Yeah.
can we all just fucking? Why do more people got to come out and talk about his fucking story?
Seth's promo, though, I thought. I mean, the Cody stuff was what I expected. The Seth part of it, though, I really enjoyed.
I like Seth, and
So do I.
I that portion of it, yes. I what tweaked me a little bit was him saying Cody's story several times. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
can we just?
Enough.
He's
We
also
get it.
becoming more of a wordsmith. He's tying things together.
Yeah.
Like the whole, he's an architect.
Yeah,
He's a vision, or he
vision-
was an
Right.
architect.
he was an architect.
He
Now
is
he's a
visionary.
revolutionary. He's a visionary.
He's,
Yeah, like that whole thing. I was like, that flowed so
I am.
nicely.
Yeah.
That's why he's one of the best on the mic. He just
Yeah.
is.
That was one of the few highlights of the show.
Yep.
Truthfully, other than that, like, and of course, you know me about Shinsuke Nakamura. I like just.
I'm turning into that person with Ivar. I don't understand him. I don't see the point. I don't see the point of the Viking Raiders.
Like that match was just like, you know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
like LA Knight. They're not gonna have LA Knight lose to Ivar.
and if you're
what
gonna
are we
have
doing here?
somebody lose, put in one of the Street Profits or somebody who people actually want to watch as a singles wrestler.
Right. But Ivar?
Exactly.
And by all accounts, the only reason they're pushing Ivar right now is because they wanted to push the tag team, and his tag team partner got hurt.
Yep.
So they didn't want them to completely get forgotten about.
Right.
So they're just pushing him singles wise to not lose the tag team momentum when he comes back. It's like, that is stupid.
Even Michael Cole is making jokes about it. All he will talk about when he's making his
Is the
entrance
antlers for
is
Valhalla.
the antlers.
Valhalla's antlers.
Valhalla, who was also Sarah Logan 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, she just changed names for no reason?
Yep. You're not supposed to know that, Frank. It's real.
it's real.
It's
Like,
real.
I could understand that whole concept if we're talking about the Crazy Mary character she played on the Indies and shit, which is fucking better than anything she's done in WWE. But
She is not the same person, Frank. This is Valhalla. You're talking about somebody else.
yes.
it kills me how straight of a face you kept saying that.
So we do have Elimination Chamber coming up.
Yes.
Was not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yep.
5 a.m.
Nope, not happening. Not
No,
doing it.
I will be watching
Don't
it
care?
at a normal time when I wake up or when I'm able to watch it on that Saturday. I will not be watching it at 5 a.m.
Nope.
Not happening.
Yeah.
At all.
No, not even close. Probably 11, 12.
Maybe noon. Yeah, I was going to say maybe noon, 1-ish.
I mean, it should be a decent show, I would think, right? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be a decent show. But again, I've been disappointed recently in some of these.
I expect a predictable show.
See, and that sucks.
That sucks.
That sucks.
And this has been the thing since Trips has kind of taken over. It's been very predictable.
That's my one knock on him so far.
Everything's been very predictable. Like your belts don't change hands enough. You know,
They don't change hands
Ever.
at all.
that's my point.
Right. Like,
That's exactly my point.
like not never.
remember when we were kids? Or even after that, like the belt used to change hands every other week on Raw.
Seemed like it, yeah.
Or every 3 weeks. Or, like now, like we got one dude that's held it for fucking 4 years.
Yep.
And another one's held it for over 2.
Yeah.
Or almost 2. What the fuck are we doing, guys?
We're just
Come on.
making it seem like these people are like unbeatable. That's not how this is supposed to work.
That shouldn't be how it is.
Right.
Like there should be more storyline to it than just nobody can beat these two guys.
And you have an elimination chamber, and I understand doing it for the number one contender. Like that's
For
low hanging fruit essentially for that match.
for Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Cesar Rollins.
But I also felt like do the elimination chamber for the Intercontinental Championship. That's a way to pull it off of Gunther.
Okay.
He can lose to 3 guys, and
Yeah.
he doesn't lose any steam going forward.
And he can lose without really losing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's one of those things where it's a win-win, right? Like he loses the belt, but he doesn't actually lose. You know what I mean? Like
right. And that's what you've got to figure out how to do.
Because he's not the one that
with
has
him.
to get pinned, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
No, everybody in the elimination chamber has to get pinned.
Technically, you get eliminated by being pinned by somebody.
Got it.
So he would have to lose. But again,
if you've got 4 guys in the ring and they're all beating the shit out of him who team up on him,
Right.
and then one of them pins him, he loses no momentum.
right. That's a way for you to lose the match without actually losing momentum, without actually
And
losing.
they're
the
missing
story.
those opportunities right now to do creative things like that.
Yeah, and that's I think we all give benefit of the doubt to Trips, right? And we all give benefit of the doubt to Rock being more involved now, and like as far as how this storyline is going to pan out and what we're in store for, right? We trust those two guys as far as entertainment, the wrestling industry, and how it's going to play out.
And I will say, by the way, there was a area to apply to be a WWE writer. I don't qualify it whatsoever. Like
Did you apply?
Oh, absolutely.
Good for you.
Send them my resume and everything. They want a Hollywood writer and shit like that, which obviously I am not. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm sending them my resume. I know I have better ideas than 3/4 of the people
right.
they have right now.
Yeah.
You should have made some shit up on your resume. Just threw some shit in there. You know what I mean?
Like
I wrote
roller skating girl for Usher's performance.
Yeah, I wrote Fast and Furious 10. You know what I mean? Like just fucking throw shit in
It's
there.
believable.
It is believable. It is believable. I saw it. I truly believe you actually did write that fucking movie.
Nah, I would have never done the car going down the dam. Never would have done it. Not in a million years.
I think at this point,
They would have been jacking fire sticks out of the back of a semi racing through L.A. Yeah.
those movies have hit the point where I truly believe you have had some writing in those movies because as they play out, I just look at you and go, I got nothing, man. But they're right,
for some
they're right
reason,
up
we
your
still
alley.
keep going and
they're right
seeing
up.
them.
Your, they're right up your alley every time. I know. I go watch them too, man. I don't understand it, but
I'll just see them for the 3rd or 4th time usually when you want to go.
yeah. Last time I was like, "Hey, you want to go see it?" You're like, "Yeah."
Seen it 3 times already.
Yeah, we got there. I had no idea he'd even seen it yet. We got there. He's like, "Yeah, I've seen it a couple times already." I'm like, "Seriously, dude? Wow. I didn't think you saw it at all. I thought that's why you were coming." He's like, "No, I want to see it again." Okay, I
Top Gun.
appreciate it.
Top Gun I saw 5 times in the theaters.
Holy shit.
I saw it twice.
It was that good though.
I really did appreciate that movie in the theater.
Like seeing it in the Dolby Atmos. That was
Yeah, I did appreciate
that was
that
the
one.
fucking way to see it.
But anyway, back to the wrestling for just a second. Like I think we all appreciate those two guys being involved, right? I think we all kind of see a vision
Yeah.
to where it's going. I hope it gets there. Like
That's the thing.
I'm gonna look hopeful right now.
Yes.
I just I guess my one knock is what you have, Chris, is that it's so predictable
Yep.
under Trips that why do I have faith in him at this point? Because it is so predictable,
Like,
and
yeah.
the championships have been so long lasting that it's anytime there's a championship match, I don't watch it going, oh, I wonder if this person's gonna win.
Because you know who's going to win.
I watch it going, well, I wonder how Roman's gonna win,
You
or I
know,
wonder
it-
how
Well,
Gunther's
yeah,
gonna win.
you
Like you don't
either A going to win or there's going to be interference.
interference. Yeah,
I was gonna say I never wonder how Roman's gonna win.
It's gonna be outside interference.
Solo Sikoa's coming in,
it's gonna be outside interference. Yeah.
who also hasn't won a match in like 25 matches.
I saw that. Like, holy shit.
He's 0-23 in his last 23 matches.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, that's a weird one. That's a weird stat.
Yeah, you've totally ruined him. The only
Yeah.
reason he's around is because he's fucking Roman's lackey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've totally ruined him then.
Why is he some sort of powerhouse that's able to take all these guys out when he can't
He
win
can't
a
even
fucking
win a regular
one-on-one
match. Yeah, that's
Yeah, 'cause
bad.
what,
That's
the last
bad.
match
That's
he won
bad
was against
writing
Cena,
too.
Right?
What's that?
Last match he won was against
Yeah.
Cena, right?
Yeah. That's bad writing too.
Which is just embarrassing for John Cena because it's like, how'd this guy beat you if he can't beat literally 20?
Because he's 50 fucking years old.
John Cena can't beat his hairline at this point.
He
so.
cannot. That is factually accurate.
It's here and here that he's having trouble with. Everything else still looks pretty nice.
I get that you have to grow it out for like roles and shit like that for movies and whatnot. Just
But
go
you
back
can,
to what you had.
You can buzz it down for the rest of the time, though.
Yeah, like,
you can buzz it, and there's ways to get around that in Hollywood where you can buzz it down and still have a long hair.
Yeah, you'll
long
be
hair
all right.
for a movie.
You'll be all right.
Like it's possible.
Dude, I tried to watch one of his movies, the one on Hulu right now.
Oh God, what was that? Freelance?
So bad.
But I'll watch it because
Allison Brie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Allison Brie's in it, so I am all about.
I turned it off at about the halfway point.
I watched the entire thing because of Allison Brie.
It's bad.
It is not good.
She's even bad.
It's not good, but I love her so much.
She's in like a pantsuit the entire time, though.
I don't care.
Well, at least the entire time I watched it.
She's hot. She's very, very attractive.
Speaking of wrestling, did either one of you go see Iron Claw when it was out?
No.
I did not. I wanted to, but I just never had a chance.
Just came out on iTunes. I was debating about getting it tonight.
Really?
I was just curious to see if either of you had
I
an
did not
opinion
see
on
it. I heard good things about it,
I
though.
watched a documentary about that family, but I'm good.
I did want to see it. I just never had a chance to make it out to see it. I haven't seen a movie in a while out at the theater, which is odd for me.
It's very odd for you.
It's been a rough start of the year.
You only had like one or two things going on.
It's a
Yeah,
couple.
right.
It's
You had like two things go on that have essentially taken up.
have essentially lasted a month and a half.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Anything else we want to get into tonight?
Nope.
No. All right. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. As always, check out SOTDET.com.
Subscribe to our YouTube page.
Subscribe to the YouTube page. Subscribe to whatever pages you can subscribe to.
Twitch.
Log in.
Leave us a 5-star review.
Give us a like, a share, a follow.
All of it.
All of it. Do every bit of it on all of our social media. And again, SOTDET.com. While you're there, click on shop. Buy some shit. It supports us. We would appreciate it. SOTDET.com. On behalf of Chris and Frank, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No! Bye, buddy. No!
Goodbye.
No! Goodbye! No!
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I've ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.